there content standards that are appropriate for that grade level in that curriculum, in that content, whether it's English, math, whatever. I don't know that there's necessarily, when we look at those essential standards as we go from K right up the gamut to 12th grade, I don't know that there's necessarily gaps, especially K through 8. Well, in the curriculum, what we see is what happens is there's gaps in the students.
Right.
And some of those, you'll just hear me out, some of those gaps are caused by student absenteeism. Students who come into our district from other districts, sometimes there's a lot that comes into play
No,
there.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Right, right.
How can we achieve that little gap?
How can we close those gaps?
Can we do like maybe an after-school program that helps pull that together, or something to bring the kid that's struggling when he goes from one group to another, or from another school to our school. How can we get them up to speed? I really like that a couple of years ago we implemented the reading program after school and the math program.
Which we still have.
And I think it's really helped bridge those gaps. So I just want to continue that to, I don't know how to express it.
Do you think it's okay if I put close the achievement gaps with extended learning opportunities?
That would,
Perfect.
yeah,
Okay.
that sounds good.
Not a teacher.
Yes.
Know what I need.
I know what you're talking about, Mario, because when I moved out here when I was in 6th grade and we had to move back, I went back with a big gap between what was being taught here and what was being taught there. And there was no way to close that gap. And that's why I had to repeat the grade. A little demoralizing, but I think I got made at it before.
And Mario, to answer this another, we're also working with Dr. Becky Wetzel, and she is helping us make sure that we're focusing on the essential standards at each grade level when we're teaching, and we're focusing on the essential standards, not so much the fluff standards, but those standards that the child needs to prepare them for the next set of essential standards. So that's the work she's doing at our elementaries, Tropico, and also we'll be doing with high school this year.
So one of the things that I see that we have a student that will fail the first semester in, say, Algebra 1.
Mhm.
And the next semester we put him in Algebra 2 or continue on. Well, he hasn't mastered the first one. How is he good? I mean, he's set up to fail the second semester.
It depends on the situation.
I know, but I'm just saying, it is, how can we
Kind of,
make sure they've got to be
Make
sure
sure they don't
pass.
slide under.
You don't want to go to like Spanish 2 if you can't master Spanish 1.
Right. Typically, Algebra 1 is a year-long class.
It is, I know, I'm just,
Yes.
but I see some of the report cards that we get to see. And we've got this student enrolled in, biology when they couldn't even pass regular science. And it's like, oh, how do we expect them to succeed? It's almost like saying, okay, you're gonna forget all about fractions and then you're gonna go into algebra. You can't.
The ideal situation to address that probably is that, summer school,
I don't.
that student would need to make up maybe, let's say they did not do well in the first semester for whatever various reasons. Maybe they didn't really apply themselves. And then the second semester, they realized, oh, I better get on it because I'm missing how many credits that I did not do well in the first semester because of my own doings. That happens too, a lot. And then, so what might be the answer is that the summer program, we have 2 sets of summer school. There's a total of 6 weeks there. If the student then is sort of transitioned into, sometimes there are teachers teaching summer school where they can, repeat the first semester of Algebra 1, or if they go into a digital program that would allow them to make up. We offer those also in summer school. But I think the thing that we really have done well, the high school and alt ed did improved this past year, was not waiting for these students who sometimes you see in expulsions who have 2 or 3 years of failing grades, and then they're finally sent to alt ed, where alt ed is sort of expected, they're expected to perform a miracle with this student to catch them up 120, 150 units, when really last year we talked with the high school, did we not, and we said, you cannot wait. If a student is a year behind, they have not achieved those credits, you can't send them 2 or 3 years later to rare earth and expect for rare earth to do all the catching up. So we need to do a better job of assessing those students who are failing. Not only maybe first semester might be they should be on our radar first semester, but definitely by the end of that freshman year, those students, that should be addressed immediately so that they are kept on track to graduate and they're able to catch up. So I think that's probably the best way to take care of that, what you're worried about.
Mrs. Gaines, may I add something else we did too?
Yes.
We offered after-school credit recovery for those kids who failed first semester. So if they failed first semester Algebra 1, second semester, they did after-school credit recovery to make up.
Yeah, I'm not saying that happens a lot, I'm just saying that is one of the things that I don't like get pushed up. Now we're considering them a junior and haven't even passed any of the classes as a freshman.
Big problem.
So how do I want to word that?
Better means of intervention.
Yeah, more intervention.
Early,
Early
thank you,
intervention.
Dr.
Thank
Keys.
you.
Robin, I think you and I had talked about that, I think the first year you were here, about, we pay attention and we're always looking at all the kids that are really excelling. And I think you and I talked about, we really need to start paying attention to the kids that are not. So this, just kind of dovetails with what that conversation you and I had way back when. Do you remember?
I remember.
Anything else?
I'm next, okay.
Yes.
First of all, so I don't get in trouble with our folks in Cadet Corps and athletics, we need to get that weight room as soon as possible.
Weight room.
You knew that was coming. Sorry.
Talk to the training committee.
You did it as soon as possible.
Did you say locker room also?
The locker room would be my next one.
Slash
because-
locker room.
Yeah, or slash locker room,
I'm
yes.
reading your mind now, Bob. That's how
Okay.
it is.
Because there's a little area in there that I really have an interest in, and that's the safety and security of our officials.
And space.
Yeah,
All right,
Okay.
anything, are you done, Bob?
No.
Oh,
Expanding CTE pathways.
what do you want?
More pathways?
I want more stuff in the CTE pathways.
More stuff in?
More courses. Photography.
We have photo, don't we?
You know, we haven't had photo in a long time.
We have photo,
We have
We do
photo.
have them?
but it's not a CTA, it's
Okay, because I haven't
Yeah.
seen anything on it or whatever.
yeah, it's just not CTE.
Okay.
Which is, I thought we had that.
It was brought back last year.
That was always on for like a year.
And Tropico has it also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sound engineering. This is all under CTE.
So you want that class under sound engineering?
Sound engineering.
That favors the news stuff that they.
Also would be included recording
We have
engineering.
we have the recording studio.
Yes, you do. So we probably need to look at it to expand and so forth.
Further down the paper, lousier I write.
Media engineering design, media, by media, I guess you could say audiovisual engineering design, which would include sound.
Isn't that what Mr.
Yeah.
Armstrong
Yeah,
teaches?
no, he does not.
Teaches visual
There is,
imagery, and Clayson teaches music, recording studio.
the music has a beginning, but he's,
It's going to its second class, they added the second
Yeah.
course.
there's, that's why I'm saying expanding and so forth, because I already know Lancaster High School has that engineering class and program going right now.
The engineering
And
pathway,
the other is we need to look at, because we have the drama classes and that, the lighting engineering. That in itself is totally different than the audio engineering.
we have stage,
Yeah.
It's combined with the advanced drama,
But he's here myself.
we just don't have enough teachers.
So Bob, when you say lighting engineering, do you mean for the black
Theater
box, for
Theater
the
lighting.
theater, or do you want a class in that?
We need class in that, yes.
Could it be maybe tied in with drama because it
Maybe a
it
section
has
of
to do
drama.
with.
It is already tied in with advanced drama, it's two different classes that happen at the same time, in the same classroom.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Because
Okay.
that whole technology is changing almost rapidly. We need to be prepared for that.
Anything else, Bob?
No, that's all I have.
Okay. Brandon,
Well, I agree with Mario about the dress code, but I would actually like to see it updated and modernized as well, so it is enforceable. I think that's been an issue, is that some of the things might be a little outdated.
Yeah.
Update dress code, modernize dress code. Like I remember one year when like all the pants that you buy had holes in them. And
and
then,
slits.
yeah, just like holes in the pants and then like the kids are wearing them to school and I'm like, hey, showing skin.
The Canyon tire doesn't go with ed code either.
Huh?
The Canyon tire statute we have in our dress codes doesn't align with ed code.
Okay.
I know we are bringing Mandarin, that's amazing, but I would also like to see even more A through G offerings for foreign language, more Spanish offerings if we could, but an option would be Tagalog since we are hiring people from the Philippines, and also if we could push that into the middle school as well, that would be great to get them started there.
So are you interested in, when you say more Spanish, let's go there first.
Well, I think there's limited Spanish offerings now, and not all of our students can meet their foreign language requirement due to space and for A through G.
We have more students signed up for Spanish 1 than we have seats But with Mandarin being offered, that offers more seats for level 1
Okay.
foreign language.
So
Yes, that was
we-
true.
if we predicate the number of teachers on the number of students needing foreign language 2 years, now we're gonna possibly have 2 periods of Mandarin and probably so many periods of Spanish 1, Spanish 2. Do we have Spanish 3 also?
We do have Spanish.
Okay, not 4?
No.
Yeah. So could we accommodate the third language at Roseman High, you think?
I don't know if we could, at this point, accommodate a full-time, but maybe splitting with Tropico, a teacher splitting, because we would have to start at 1, and with 3 different classes of level 1, I'm sure we'd get some interest, but you'd have to see what the students are, do they want to take Tagalog, you know?
That's, like, I mean, I hear what you're saying, since we have teachers coming in from the Philippines, but do they want to teach that, and are people interested in learning Tagalog? Like,
There's some pretty robust Tagalog programs in California that people are interested in.
If we could offer a foreign language that the kids would love to take, it'd be Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the new like anime culture, stuff like that, absolutely, they would take it.
I would also say French. I have a lot of friends that
we,
like that. French.
Well,
French and German and
Marunong ako magsalita ng
Along those lines, I'd like to see that we do offer 4 years of Spanish. That way students could be eligible for this bilingual seal on their diplomas.
4 years of Spanish.
I think that's the requirement, 4 years of the same language.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
turn
they
my,
have to pass
I'm gonna
the
turn my
test.
page here, continue. Okay.
the formal Spanish or the conversational Spanish?
Whatever counts.
Okay,
So there is a difference.
We do have Silva by literacy though, a lot of our EL students get Silva by literacy.
Yeah, that's great. And keeping in mind, expanding these things to all of it, but specifically, I'd like to explore work study options and vocational opportunities for some of our students. Especially alternative ed. There's some that you can get credit for school.
work study options, and what was the last part of that?
vocational.
Vocational options for students to earn credits,
Mr. Notterman's
internships,
working
etc.
on that
Those
now
various.
as well. So Mr. Notterman is working on that right now as well.
And primarily you're concerned with alt ed.
Well, I think that's where it
Yes.
typically resides, but I wouldn't say that, I don't think it has to be there, but I'd like to give some of those students options for vocational pathways as well. And that's it.
That's it?
Thank you.
Then when Ms. Rendon is back at our meeting, then I will give her an opportunity to provide input for hers as well. Was there anything here, the one that shocks me? The one that shocks me, which is gonna happen anyway, there's no construction on here, which
It's
is,
happening already.
it's just
Well, the weight
happening.
room's on
We
there.
already have
Yeah.
the construction
Yeah,
uh, program going.
yes, yeah, I just was,
I want
I
a
thought
greenhouse,
for
build
sure-
us a greenhouse.
I thought
There
for
it is, add
sure-
it on there.
Mr. Bensalette was gonna tell me he wants a CTE building.
Oh, that's definitely, one of my,
Providing it's
one
not-
of the goals,
Well,
but I know we're not gonna get there yet.
they actually were doing buildings that were similar to the what they call the, what you buy the kids at the Home Depot, like little storage sheds. They were building those at the school and making them with full electrical that you could hook up, along with, some of them actually had solar panels on. And they were doing those at the school, and then they were selling them off to buy materials to do other ones. Now, this has been about 3 or 4 years ago that they did those. And then maybe 2 or 3 that they renovated some trailers during that construction pathway. They took some, I think they were Airstreams, and they gutted them, redid them, and then made them into like workstations for, and I think the base is the ones that requested those. Because whoever it was, they supplied the trailers and the materials.
I remember them working on it.
Oh, yeah, you're coming back to, that is a CTE program as well. But when you mentioned about the building, we need a building that is built around the CTE programs, not a building that we shoehorn them in.
Oh, you want to build a building house?
That's correct.
Okay, well, that would help.
Right on your list.
But you did not tell me that.
I did not tell you that now
No,
because it's, I
Thank
think, I think that's a little down the line.
That's down the line with that, bond.
Yeah.
We'll figure that out.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, item approved resolution 242502, biannual adoption of the conflict of interest code.
Yes, Madam President, this was on the board agenda last meeting for your consideration. It's brought back tonight. I believe last meeting, there were no changes advised to the, this is the Form 700 that you fill out every year with Ms. Alma's help. And if there are no changes advised, then we need to accept the conflict of interest code as written. Yes.
Do I hear a motion to accept?
A motion.
Motion by Ms. Follett, seconded by?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Coy. The Adrian, any advice?
Yeah, so on my own time, like during social media, majority of the school like follows me. So I like just posted like a poll or like a question like, what are things about the school that you have to change, just to see what the majority of the kids in the school are reading. And I like check and I have them here. And besides that, I also want to like add some stuff like for my personal goals for this school year. And one of them was actually brought forth by him was increase student turnout rate, right? And these are the ones that were mentioned most frequently in my like what they were saying. I know some of them are. It'll be very tricky for me to like persuade you guys to like go forward with it. But the first one,
And let me hear from you. Yeah. Okay, let me go back and let me take what you have and then we'll do the vote. We'll resume the vote on the conflict.
And then.
All in favor?
I
Do those things. Make sure you put it in. We can see what the students are thinking.
All right, Adrian, lay it on us.
all right. So the ones that I want to like pursue is clean the restrooms. That's the main goal, and I know that you need steps to do it. Like it's a whole complex process. So maybe I was thinking, I know there's vandalism laws, maybe a stricter enforcement, because I know kids are vandalizing, and the bathroom makes it very uncomfortable, and kids would rather wait home till the end of the day to use the restroom to using it here, going through unnecessary stress. And then second is the vending machines. I don't know about that, but that's just the goal. Vending machines, kids tell me like they wish the vending machines were working so they could buy water from it.
They don't work.
Like no, they do not work. Right.
It's constantly being serviced by the company, like
They change them out.
they come, they service it, they leave, doesn't work.
They change them out.
Yeah.
Look at, I'm gonna,
Yeah.
so they get myself a vending
Oh,
machine.
we'll talk to Nathan about that.
I don't think I can put on campus. Darn it. Someone else can.
I had that problem in my shop for a while.
But you know, vending machines are ASB ran and,
I'm pretty.
ASB president right there.
Mr. ASB president, you're in charge of the.
ASB runs vending machines.
Well, then I
No,
know.
It's okay.
That's all good.
Oh, that's a good point, so that's good to know, if they're not working, they're not functioning, what's the point?
And Adrian, I can tell you that once your new cafeteria is open, the various foods that you will have available, both from the cafeteria and what I call the à la carte area, will be a lot more than what you currently have.
Always remember, if you're gonna have that contract, you're responsible, but in that contract, if you're not working the way you need to do it, you can fire them. And don't be afraid to do that.
I've asked for
But
Should keep doing them for
you can put poison pills in.
Anything else?
Oh yeah, and I was always thinking with him, you guys passed like the legislation to change the food producers, but a lot of them were complaining about food, like the quality of the food. He told me I already passed it, so that's good.
Yep.
And this one might be up for a bit of contentious arguments because I was actually talking to it was like March, some group of people that come in and expect us to like talk to the students about the school, how the school is. And I know the principal recommended me and a few other students to go talk to them.
Wash, he's talking about wash.
Yeah,
Oh.
wash. And I know Madison brought it up, extra credit, bring it back, but like that might be up for like the contentious argument because like it's kind of the kid's responsibility, but that could also help you like with your goal, like past like to limit failing extra credit. And I do know that I'm not gonna say names, but teachers do offer extra credit like somehow. So just making it legal would make it better for teachers not to like swoop by the law to no more extra credit.
Is extra credit illegal?
No.
It was part of the new grading policy that we're not supposed to offer extra credit.
Really?
because it should not be. There's a history of, for example, I'm gonna go to elementary for a minute. Kids, if you bring some tissue boxes, you will be given extra credit. When we're talking about the academic grade of a child, what they can bring, their behavior, none of that should be considered in their grade. Their grade should be based on their ability to learn, their ability to grow from one assessment to the other, using not only the mean, but the mode and the median in giving that grade.
Okay, but what about extra credit for doing an extra essay in English?
Well,
Well, that's how you get around it, because you retake it.
What's that?
You retake it instead
it's a
of,
retake, it would be considered,
then you're actually learning the concept, right?
Well, yeah, say, okay, you're a little bit behind in your English, and the teacher says, okay, anybody who wants to up their grades, we need an essay on whatever, like that.
You could also do Saturday school by offering kids to come in and get content they're not understanding and to earn more points by coming and reading content.
Okay, but they get points for that, because it is a grade, something that can be graded.
Yeah.
Okay.
so they should be given the opportunity to do retakes and to, you know, as many times as necessary.
I think the
That's
issue,
the issue.
Yeah,
right, so I agree with that, but I think the issue might be if you didn't meet certain standards or you missed class or whatever, or failed this assignment, then doing an essay doesn't necessarily address the standards you missed. So if you can maybe redo that assignment or something like that, that would probably be, well, opinion wise, but maybe better than you missed 3 days of algebra, so if you just write me a paper on the history of math, doesn't necessarily meet what you missed.
I hear what you're saying, like my first, well, I've almost been a second grader, but my first grader, like on certain spelling tests, like we would drill it in her, and then she'd get in there and take the test, and she'd miss a few, and her teacher would be like, okay, well, you know, we're gonna allow her to retake the test, it's gonna be on this date, so then we're like, flashcards, you know, to get ready for it, and then, you know, the grade would go up, so she would retake that test.
And I think that that is a result, Sunny, of the work that our teachers, our admin is doing with Ken O'Connor, who is an expert on grading. And he's a firm believer that students should be given multiple times, multiple opportunities to learn. I mean, is that not what we want them to do, is to
Yeah.
learn and master the standard? And sometimes it's hard to get everybody, you know, grading is very personal to everybody who's ever taught. But we're doing better with it. Would you not agree?
I agree.
We're doing better and kids are being given more and more opportunities. So I like the way you're
And
thinking.
I know that some teachers are very strict on not accepting any late work or anything like that. Maybe that's more along the lines of what you're kind of addressing.
Yeah. I mean, there's two sides that portrays of the college.
Right, exactly.
I take college classes, they're not lenient, so yeah. So,
Double-edged.
yes, it works.
Yeah, it's,
And the last one, like I said, well, this more personally for me, increased student turnout rate. Just, like I said, polls for the school and increase the turnout rate.
We talked about that.
What was that increased by?
Student turnout rate.
like at events or
Just
No,
votes,
what
like,
Dan mentioned he did a survey and they got 100 responses. And I went back to,
Oh, and then
I went
like
back to
engagement.
Adrian and I said, hey, Adrian,
Involvement.
more
get
student
several of
yeah,
the students
more student
more involved in answering those surveys.
more student voice.
Yeah, more student voice. I think what Adrian is doing here is he's already expressing the voice of the students.
Yeah.
He's gonna take that back saying, hey, thank you for that, the board's listening. Because once they understand, the board is
You
gonna
will
listen.
You will have more involvement.
That's correct.
or like, they know like their voice actually like matters, so they're more inclined to.
Right.
Well, and like you
Yeah.
mentioned about the food thing.
Yeah.
We heard a lot about
Yeah.
that. And so we took action on that.
But see, and that's the other thing with the food thing. When we first changed over to Chartwell, they were doing an excellent job. I was getting a lot of reports from the students. And then all of a sudden, the lady who was doing it left and all that information dried up. And I couldn't get any more of that information. So we need that information on that. And I suspected, and from some of the feedback that we're getting, there was a problem. But I didn't know what the problem was.
And please tell them that they can come to a board meeting and address the board as well.
Which I can hope with that, because I already told you guys, like, I have like huge influence like on the school, like just the students, because I'm just very social. I talk to like so much students. I'm always like interacting with the students. And like I said, that Instagram poll thing, a lot of the students follow me. A lot of them, I told them like I could possibly help and influence like what you want getting past, and I got a lot of the responses. So.
Good. Keep it up. Keep it up.
That's a good word.
Great input, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, curriculum and instruction, accept quarterly reports on the Williams Uniform complaints under Education Code 35186. Dr. Mendez-Lesquez.
Yes, basically the report is that we had no complaints in April, May, and June.
Yay.
So that,
Okay,
I'm sorry, I forgot to put the little box in.
It should be in.
Okay.
Yes.
Letting you on that little box here. All in, do I hear a motion to accept?
So moved.
Motion by Vincent to accept, seconded by?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Foy. Advice, Adrian? If you're in favor, you can say yay. If you're not in favor, you can say nay.
Yay.
Yay, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, lastly, approve the following items, listed personnel items, Mrs. Hurwitz.
All right, so, you just asked that you approve them as written.
Any questions, anybody? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Vincent, seconded by
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Coy. We do student vote on that one, sorry.
Madam President, if I could just comment very quickly. With the approval of those personnel items, I want to congratulate Robin Calzada, as she will now be the new principal at.
Congratulations.
Stole my thunder.
And so now we will have before I leave this evening, I will be posting for an attendance system.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Perfect, okay, all in favor? Aye. Congratulations, Ms. Calzada. Alrighty, next.
Oh, there's
Wait, Personnel items. Approve administration and administrative assignments for the 2024-2025 school year.
Yes, and as you can see, we have Ms. Calzada down as the principal. We were hoping that the board would approve that transition. And we have now the vacancy at Roseman High School for an assistant principal. So pretty much everybody is the same as where they've been for some time. Except Calzada.
Okay.
And we have Mr. Adams, of course, Dane Adams.
Yes.
And we have Dr. Keys, but
Dr.
I'm
Keys,
so
principal
sorry.
of Tropical Middle School. Dr. Keys. Welcome again. Welcome. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve? That was everybody. One, who was it?
I'll second.
Vincent, Terrence, motion? Vincent, second?
Yep.
Discussion? Nope. All in favor?
Aye.
Well, for the assignments, it's no advice.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's all.
Track. Okay, now you can go ahead.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Terrence to adjourn, seconded by? I'll second that. Yay. All in favor? Aye.
Sorry,
Oh,
Madam
sorry.
Slender.
Yeah, it's
I just, I mean,
Adrian, are you in favor of adjourning this meeting?
Yes.
All right.
Remember, we're
The time
trying to get him on